Hello, welcome to Lesson 4 in Unit 2. This lesson is all about keeping a steady beat. And that seems like, well, that's a pretty well duh, I just keep my hand moving, but there are actually some tricks that will make it sound a lot more musical, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we just want to keep a constant motion with our right arm. And notice I'm moving from my elbow, there's not a lot of wrist involved yet. We will do that later. And I'm keeping, the best way I can describe this is like a windshield wiper. In other words, I'm not doing this, stop, stop. It's a steady motion. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. This is the best way to keep a steady beat. The large muscles are very good about keeping you in time. So even if the rhythm might be 1, 2, rest, rest, it's a good idea to keep that arm moving in that steady fashion all the time. So that's a really important thing to just keep in mind. Okay, so let's get started with the first exercise. So it talks a little bit about measures and bar lines. And this is what we do to meter music, to divide it into sort of digestible chunks of time. And the most common meter is 4/4 time. And what that means is there's going to be 4 counts or beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start over without a pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want to play those all as a down strum. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I play a G chord, it'd sound like this. 1, 2, 4. And that's great, and that's what I want you to practice. In the book, it shows how we use rhythmic notation to notate that. And so what that just means is you could think of it as either 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could think of it as down, 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 down. One of the real tricks, though, to make it sound more musical, because this sounds a little bit like the Charlie Brown Adults. Wah, 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 wah. It's kind of monotone. And so what we want to do is we want to try and emphasize beat 1 in some way to distinguish it from the following 3 beats in 4/4 time. And so there's a couple ways to do that. One way is to simply strum more strings on beat 1 and just the higher strings on beat 3 and 4, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even more effective would be to just strum the lower strings, like the 5th, 6th, and 4th strings, followed by the higher strings on the subsequent beats. So I get, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that sounds pretty musical, much better than. And remember back to our how to use a pick and strumming with our pick, that if you use it too firm of a grip, it's going to sound kind of harsh. And we don't want that. We want to keep that nice relaxed grip. Low, high, high, high. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. People often ask me, how come it sounds so good when I do it? And it's because a lot of times it's just a matter of being aware of basic musical concepts like emphasizing beat 1 to create meter. You'll find that a lot of songs you'll hear, especially like simple country songs, a lot of times they're very simple strum pattern, but it sounds very musical. Later in the book, we'll learn to just separate beat 1 by a simple bass note. And that sounds even fancier. But still, I'm keeping that steady beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice my arm is moving the whole time. So even if I'm going to play 1, 2, rest, rest, 1, 2, rest, rest, I'll keep that motion, especially as a beginner. Later, I might minimize the motion to something like this. But I'm really physically accounting for every beat all the time. All right, so happy strumming. And remember, steady beat is really important. Okay, we'll see you at lesson 5.